There we go. Good morning and welcome to Distracted Thoughts. Dathan, how are you this morning, sir?
Excellent, sir.
Good?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I noticed you were not banging on the
Yes,
table.
I was air banging.
Yeah.
Apparently some of our viewers have said that our finger tapping and hand banging is a little loud.
It's a little bit loud, so we're trying to be aware of that. So it's good this morning? Good day?
Yeah, good day.
I mean, you were up at the butt crack of dawn this morning.
Man, yeah. I actually woke up, this whole sun coming up at 4 in the morning crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I love where we live, but man, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's like 4:15, lights coming in there. And we have like blackout curtains in our bedroom and everything, but our bedroom, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I've got 6
Well, you're in the corner of that house.
8-foot windows from floor to ceiling,
Yeah.
plus 2 skylights.
Yep.
You're going to get light from somewhere.
Right. Well, and that one window specifically faces to the east.
Yes. Yep.
And so, I know there's trees on that side of the house, but it's going to get through.
Oh, it gets through. So if I wake up anytime between like 4:30 and like 6, it's hard to go back to sleep because I just feel like I want to get up. So this morning it was like a 5:45, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was awake and I was like, all right, I'm up.
Well, it's funny because, I'm usually up relatively early. And, you texted me this morning a couple of those questions. And so I sent your responses. A couple of questions I asked you. We're going to come hang out with you guys tonight for your wife's birthday.
Yeah.
Well, so I texted my wife back some of those answers, some of the, and she's like, "Are you guys meeting this morning? Why are you texting so early?" I'm like, "I didn't start it. He did."
Well, I had a doctor's appointment earlier this morning.
Yeah.
And so I went to the doctor's appointment just to check up, and I get home, and my wife's made coffee because she's up.
Right.
So we're sitting there drinking coffee, and we're just going through like all of our plans for the day and what's going to go on. Because I got a kind of a busy day today. And so I'm like, all right, I need to find answers to all this stuff. And I'm texting, and then as I'm doing, I'm realizing it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sending people texting. But it was the other people the Beckers are coming over. So and John's already at work.
Right,
so he leaves the house like 4:30 or something like that in the morning. So he's already at work. And then I'm like, Aaron might be up. We'll find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same as you. Even in the winter, I don't. Well, interesting thing, for people that don't realize, this area, summer to winter, we have a full 8-hour swing in the amount of daylight. In the winter, we only have 8 hours of daylight. In the summer, which we are, today's the 12th? We're 9 days from the longest day of the year.
From solstice, yeah.
So on that day, we get 16 hours of daylight and only 8 hours of dark. And if you know anything, that's not actually true because you have sunrise, sunset where there's plenty of light. So realistically, we only, that day, a little over a week from now, not this weekend, but next weekend, we might get 6 hours of dark.
Yeah.
Might. Get 6 hours of dark.
And it's like I said, last night we were sitting outside and it was like 9:15, and the sky's still lit up.
Yeah.
Behind the mountains. You can't see the sun, but it's still reflecting, and it's, you could clearly walk around. It wasn't like it was pitch black or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree with you. That was also one of those crazy things. And I think you and I have talked about it. I don't know if we've talked about it on a podcast or if we've talked about it the amount of stuff that people do here in the summer versus like we've talked about sports. You did baseball in Georgia, and it was a year-long sport.
Yeah.
And here it's like
6 weeks.
It was 6 weeks, but we're cramming as much shit into the summer as possible because you ain't doing anything in the winter.
No, because you're not. You're not. Because you do have limited daylight. You have sometimes it's, like 6 hours of daylight. Yeah. 5 to 6 hours of daylight. But even then, it's cold outside. You don't want to go outside and get around in it unless you're doing cold activities.
Right.
And you can't go work in the yard or nothing because it's covered in snow. You know what I mean? Or ice.
Right.
So Yeah, it's definitely a much different up here. I mean, in the South, we get used to just doing the same thing. We make our schedule for the whole year because we're
Right.
doing the same thing all year.
Right.
Or we can plan it at any point in time. We
Right.
don't plan it around. Oh well, I have to trim the trees here, and I have to do this.
Right.
I can just do it whenever.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those like uh, understanding how well, again, we're so far north. There's maybe one or two towns in Washington that are obviously Alaska, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different world. But there's only one or two towns in Washington that are farther north than we are here.
Yeah.
I love the misconception. People think, oh, but Maine is, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
If you draw,
if you look at the longitude latitude lines, it's
yeah. There's no part of it so we experience things a whole lot different.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you have a wedding coming up.
Yes.
And I love the look on your face.
17 days.
17 days. Yeah.
Not anybody's counting.
Right. You have family that are going to come up to experience this. Some of them for the first time, right?
Yes. Yeah, most of them for the first time.
Right. How is that going to go for you?
You see how big my eyes are?
I do. Well, yeah.
So honestly, me and my wife were talking this morning. I have more anxiety and stress. I don't like calling it anxiety and stress. I'm more anxious about the family being here
Right.
than the actual wedding.
Okay.
My family, all of the family starts arriving on the 24th.
Okay.
Wedding's not till 28th.
Right.
Then they are here till like the 3rd. Okay, most of them.
Okay.
Well, when you go somewhere for a wedding,
Mm-hmm.
all of my family will gather at my house.
Mm-hmm.
They will be at my house
Right.
for 10 days.
Right.
It's going to be slightly stressful. I think, yeah. My wife, the saving grace for my wife, because she gets stressed out when there's a bunch of people around.
Right.
The saving grace for my wife is going to be that her sister's going to be here.
Okay.
And her and her sister, when they're together, they give each other energy. And,
Okay.
And her mother will be here, which will be nice. My mother, on the other hand, is going to be, we'll see. I haven't spent time with my mother in probably 3 years.
Okay.
So my mother's went through a lot in that time. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be, you might just see me coming over here knocking on the door or something. Or you might just hear me down at CQB in the basement or something. I'm going to need some breaks.
Okay. Well, I'm here,
just because, I mean, it's family,
Right.
And when you get a whole bunch of family together, guess what? A whole bunch of family has a whole bunch of opinions. And everybody wants their opinion. So I guess that kind of leads into our segment.
That's exactly where I was going with that. You read my mind, man. Yes, that's exactly. Disagreeing well, because you have this large group of people with varying opinions. It's a wedding coming up. Not only, you have your family, you have your future in-laws and their family, extended family, and you have all these things coming together. There's going to be disputes. There's going to be differences of opinion. There's going to be, well, we do this, in our family, we do this way. In our family, we do that way. How do you, and realistically, your home, you're the man in charge. How do you handle those well? How do you handle them well?
Lots of bourbon. No, that's not the answer.
Well, no, that's the after when you come vent with me. That's what we'll do. But how do you handle it well?
So you got to, first and foremost, you got to learn to pick your battles.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, some people don't understand that. I thought everybody kind of understood that, but I've actually talked to people who don't. So when I say pick your battles, I'm very, I have hard lines in the sand,
right,
for my house.
Right.
There's certain things that I don't allow in my house.
Right.
You're not gonna bring them in there.
Right.
There's other things that I don't really, that aren't going to really bother me if you do. So I have to have those. I have to be able to pick my battles.
Okay.
If someone is doing something that is completely that I'm disagreeing with,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it's short term. Like they make a comment, like, "Oh, we do this way in our family. Well, we've always done this. This is a tradition,
Yeah.
And that's all they're going to say about it, and they're going to leave it alone after that.
Right.
I'm not going to argue about it,
Okay.
even if I'm like, no, we're not going to do that,
Right.
Because they're saying their peace of mind, but then they're going to move on to something else.
Right.
So it's a lot about reading the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pick that battle. I'm not going to go down that road just to argue.
Right.
But then there's going to be some things, specifically with my mother, that I know are going to happen. That my mother's a smoker.
Okay.
I don't want smoking in my house.
Right.
I don't want it on my property.
Right.
So, and she's staying with us for 10 days. So,
Okay.
I've said, if you're going to smoke, you will go off of my property to do it.
Okay.
You will walk down the road. You will take a walk on the street. You will do something. You will not be on my property to do it.
Right.
That is something that I will stand up against and be very, very diligent if that's my hard line in the sand.
Right.
If you want to smoke that bad, you can walk 50 feet.
Right.
And do it.
Right.
That's just how I am.
Right.
That's my hard line in the sand. For some people, it's not.
Right.
For some people, it is. It is for me.
Right.
I grew up around it and I can't stand the smell of it.
Right.
So, I don't want it around.
Right.
So that's one of those things, like that's a battle I will go to the field for. I will battle for,
Right.
But it's also being very straightforward with this is what I expect. It is my house.
Right.
So I think that's like disagreeing well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with me.
Right.
I don't have to agree with you.
Right.
But these are the rules of my house.
Right.
This is what I'm going to stick to.
Right.
So that's something that is, I'm not going to be mean about it.
Right.
I'm not going to be nasty. I'm not going to call names or get mean or anything. I'm just going to tell you this is the way it is.
Right.
If you don't agree with me, that's okay. But I still ask you for your respect.
Right.
Well,
there's a difference in being mean or nasty and just being firm. Like I can be kind and still be firm.
Yeah.
You can still say, hey, this is the way things are. I understand that you don't necessarily like it. I understand that this is not something that you agree with, but this is the way we operate. And I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about me and my wife. Because we are our household, right? This is the way we operate. This is the way we do things. And you have a choice. Follow, don't follow. My hope is that you actually abide, that you actually follow the rules.
And most of the time when you're that way, most people, I would say, respect you enough for being firm in your decision,
right?
That they will follow it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You do have those times when they don't.
Yeah.
You have those times when you just can't see common ground,
right?
And you have to. Those are the times you have to decide how far you're willing to take a disagreement,
right?
For me, disagreeing well brings. This is sometimes what causes disagreement. Disagreeing well, to me, is bringing logic into the argument or the disagreement, which some people who are not logical thinkers look at it as an attack because they're not logical thinkers. So that honestly has started arguments in my life because I'm very logical when it comes to things, and people don't like you giving them a logical explanation for something they want to argue about.
Well, okay. So, and this is actually one of those. I agree with you. We can't set emotion aside. I actually think one of the most misinterpreted scriptures in the Bible is when we're commanded to take our thoughts captive. That word is actually misinterpreted. Thoughts is actually feelings. So basically what you're talking about is exactly that. Hey, I need to control my feelings because, dude, we feel everything first.
Yeah.
Like I will get mad before I can see the logic of things.
Oh, yeah.
I need to control the anger. I need to control my rage. I need to control whatever emotion is there first so that I can logic through the reality of the situation. Because my feelings lie to me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The feelings that I have will betray me, right? They will lead me to places that I just shouldn't go, right? And so that's one of those, and it is one that I often use with people say, I think you're missing when it says, take your thoughts captive. It's your feelings because it's your feelings because when just exactly how you're saying, hey, how can we talk this out? I need to. I just had a Ben Shapiro quote go through my head. Facts don't care about your feelings.
I love that quote.
I mean,
it's true.
What reality is doesn't actually give two shits what you feel in the situation. And so what is the reality of and I think that's like you said, disagreeing well, having those kind of discussions is actually being able to do that and actually talk through it, recognizing the things that cause me emotions, recognizing the things that are like, oh, why does that bother me in the moment? Why is that lighting a fire in my head? Oh, okay, I need to recognize that. Do you have those family members that just like to argue?
Yes. My
Okay.
brother.
Your brother, is he coming up?
No.
Oh.
He can't make it.
Okay.
He has a family of 6, and
Right.
he wants to, but a flight for 6 people from Florida to Idaho and back is like $6,000. It's almost $1,000 a person for a round trip ticket right now.
Wow.
So he's like, dude, I can't right now.
Right.
You know? And I understand it. But so it's funny. So me and my brother, anybody who's around me and my brother think that every conversation we ever has an argument.
Uh-huh.
Like any conversation.
Uh-huh.
Even my wife, up until literally like a few years ago, and we've been together 20 years.
Right.
Because it sounds like we're arguing.
Right.
But we just try to talk louder than each other.
Oh, it's one of those.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we're never mad at each other. And in all the years of my life, after we've both become adults, so in the past 20 years,
right,
I can only think of maybe twice that we got so mad at each other we wouldn't talk to each other.
Right.
Like, no. Like, right. It's we argue about. He likes to disagree with me just to see where I'll take it. Even if he knows I'm right, he'll disagree with me or say something contradictory to what I say just to see me get on a soapbox and start getting at him. And then do that when I get good and heated.
Oh, yeah.
Then he'll laugh when I get good and heated. Well, because he did it on purpose. So he's known me longer than anybody else besides my parents. Yeah. And he knows how to say certain things. He knows my trigger words.
Yeah, right.
And he uses them. He's probably got them wrote down. But I'm the same with him.
Right.
Like
right.
I'll send him a text and use 3 or 4 things that I know he's going to be triggered about, and then leave him on read, not reply to him for like 2 days, and just watch him stew. And he'll send me multiple lines of text afterwards, and then I'll call him, and he'll be like, "You did it on purpose, didn't you?" I was like, "Took you long enough to realize it." So
that's funny.
So yes, so he's one that likes to argue just to argue. And then I guess not really anybody else. My mother's not an arguer.
No.
she's a very she's not an arguer. She'll mumble under her breath, which drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not an arguer. And then Alexis's mother is not. Alexis's mother is super logical.
Right.
So me and her actually get along really well when we talk because she brings logic into a lot of it. Sometimes like even more logical than I am.
Okay.
And it's like, whoa, okay, I have to even step back myself and be like, oh, that makes more sense than what I was saying.
Right.
But there's not a lot of my side of the family that's actually coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because they all live in Florida or Georgia.
Right.
So it's a big deal for the trip. So I think the majority of people that are going to be here are going to be Gabe's side of the family.
Okay.
My future son-in-law's side of the family.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to, I mean, we'll do things with them the day before the wedding and the day of the wedding, but that's the only time. I mean,
Right.
we're not going to have the two families hang out all the whole time. That's way more than I want to do. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So there might be one time we all get together, but I don't even know if that's going to happen. So I mean, we'll be together all day on Saturday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Setting the wedding venue up, and probably all day Friday too. So.
Right. Well, that'll be plenty to do. Plenty of discussion. It's funny. So you talk about I had, again, I think in pictures often, and there's a meme that came out a few years ago that is exactly that. It's a picture of Jason Bateman, the actor, sitting, like holding his face like this and just kind of having that shit-eating grin on his face. And the caption at the bottom of it says, I know you won the argument 10 minutes ago, but I'm just stirring you up now to piss you off. I mean, and that is that. I laugh because I'm that guy. I was actually teaching a young man that I was mentoring not too long ago how to debate, how to argue, and work through things when you're doing a discussion, when you're doing an argument, right? I was actually, and we were arguing something that from my side, there was no way that I was actually going to believe it. We were arguing about abortion.
Okay.
Right? I'm as pro-life as they come. Period. Right? Moment of conception, I believe God created individual life, and when those two cells come together, that's a new being. So that's but with this young man, I argued for abortion. I argued for it. And when we were having this discussion back and forth, he actually said, he's like, holy shit, I swear that if I didn't know you, that you were all for it. I'm like, it's because you need to know how to logic through. And I took the emotion out of it, and I only presented it from a logical point of view. I only presented it from what I can see the other side saying. And he was like, yeah, if I didn't know, I'm like, well, in that case, you need to learn to argue better. You need to learn how to discuss things better, because that's the ultimate point. When I go into those contentious arguments or disagreements or conversations, my thinking in it is, hey, this is one of two things is going to come out. Like, we had a good conversation. And I mean, I love the type of conversation we had this morning. Yeah. Those are my favorites, right? Because even in that, and I actually look forward to some of the things you proposed. Because the idea is, hey, I'm going to go into it realizing that I could be wrong, right? But the idea is, either I'm going to go into it and present what I believe in a factual way that I'm going to strengthen my argument. I'm going to strengthen what I believe, right? And I'm going to see the counter in the other side. Or you're going to change my mind. You're going to at least move me.
And it might not be a full change of mind, but it could be
it's a shift.
It's a shift. I haven't thought about it that way.
Right.
Because that's what's happened with me recently is like, my mind's not completely changed on certain topics, but I've had a shift because I have been open to think and view things a little differently.
Right.
And they're backed up with facts.
Right.
And when I say facts, I mean facts that I can find,
Right.
just as well as facts that you can find counter to it.
Right.
But it's backed up with facts. So it's the same thing. I look forward to it because I may have stepped onto the wrong path.
Right.
And I may not be thinking logically about some of it. Whereas when you come in, you're going to be. And so there may be a path that I'm like, oh, I just need a recorrection on this.
Right. Right.
So I like the fact that doing that is we're both going into it open-mindedly with what we know.
Right.
With the understanding that what we know may not be right.
Or incomplete.
Either one of us.
Or
incomplete. There you go. That's a better...
Incomplete. That's actually one of the things. Right, wrong. Right, wrong. Okay. So that's one of the hard things in disagreements. And so, again, talking about disagreeing or having discussions, I hate I'll use hate. I hate when people say, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, there's no gray area in there. There's no nuance of like, well, maybe my thinking is just incomplete. Maybe your thinking is incomplete.
Yeah.
Maybe there are things that from my limited perspective, because I only see things through these eyeballs, I only see things through my chair, right? I can't see what's behind my head. I don't have any perspective back here, right? I mean, I'm waving my hand behind my head. The camera can see it, but I can't.
Yeah.
So that's the way of thinking is like, man, there are things that that my perspective, I can't see or haven't seen.
Yeah. And it's very possible that you were right with the amount of knowledge you had.
Right. With what I can see here.
Look at science, technology, everything. Look at school books.
Right.
Look at what we thought was right because of the limited knowledge we had and the limited capability we had 50 years ago.
Right.
And now look at what we think is right.
Right.
Which proves that what we thought before was wrong.
Right.
Because we have more knowledge now.
Right.
It happens in medicine all the time. It happens with doctors all the time. I had it happen today. My doctor literally said, we now have more data, so we realized we were wrong about this medication.
Right.
Now that we have this data.
Right.
They were right about that medication then because they didn't have the data. Right. They didn't have all the facts. They didn't have all the information. Right. Now they have all the information. They realized we were wrong about this.
Right.
Not so wrong that it was life-threatening, but they have more information now, so this is better.
So I have a story that came up recently that is along those same lines, talking about medicine, right? If you look at a science textbook from 20 years ago, it teaches that the blood in your body, when your blood is in your body, it's blue, right? We know that's not true. We actually know now today that is not, in fact, the case. Why? Well, because technology is advanced in a way. Sophie does it, my daughter. She's a phlebotomist, right? She draws blood, right? That vacuum tube technology, that blood that she draws is never exposed to air.
Never exposed to oxygen. Because if it was, it'd be tainted.
Right.
Can't be used.
Right. And so when she draws blood, what color is the blood?
It's a little darker than bright red, but it's just red. It's still red.
It's still red, right? And so the technology, even 20 years ago to today, in something as simple as the color of our blood has changed. Now, I guarantee you there's some old school science teacher out there using 20-year-old books because they've had the same curriculum that they refuse to update.
Yep.
Because what they know is what they know, right? And yet, we have been able to prove we have technology that's updated that says, hey, 20 years ago, this is what we believed. That's not actually true.
Yep.
That's not actually real. We know this is actually the case.
Now, it was truth then with the amount of information we had.
Right.
Whether it was wrong or right, it was truth. What we know today could be wrong in 20 more years.
Right. Right.
But right now, with the information we have, it's right.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. Like being able to have a conversation with someone, a disagreement, and knowing that you may have limited information, and if you're able to get more information that's correct, it can change your truth.
Yeah.
I know you've seen this. It's an old thing, but someone draws a 6 on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and they're sitting across from each other, and they're like, they ask this person, what number is that? And you say 6. They ask that person, what number is that? And you say 9.
Right.
Well, from your perspective, from the amount of information you have, because you didn't see the number get drawn, and you don't know which is top and which is bottom, you assume that that's the bottom side of the paper.
Right.
So from the information you have, that's a 9.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Right.
From the information I have, that's a 6.
Right.
I'm not wrong.
Right.
So we can both be correct in the amount of information we have. But if somebody writes bottom on the piece of paper and top on the piece of paper, then there's only one truth.
Yes. Yes.
Then because, oh, wait, whichever one is wrote on, I may be the one that was correct.
Right.
Or you may be the one that's correct. And the other person has to be able to accept that, you know what? Oh, now that I have more information, the truth is different. You were right. My old information was wrong.
Yeah.
So that it's a stupid, simple task. I do it with my kids.
Right.
I do it with my kids 5 or 6 years old. You know what I mean? I'll do that with them. And I need to do it with Cole. I hadn't done it with him yet. And it gives them a way of thinking that, oh, just because this is all I have information-wise, I could still end up being wrong. And it's okay to change my answer.
Yes.
It's okay to change my mind.
Yeah.
And that's if you go into every disagreement in that mentality, it is so much easier to keep emotions out of it and to hold your emotions captive.
Yes. Yeah.
It is so much easier.
Right. And that's exactly it. Like, now we know. Now we have this, okay. All right. Yeah, from my angle, from my direction, that was a 9. But I can see now that more information has been presented, my information was incomplete. It wasn't necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
From my chair, I wasn't necessarily wrong, but I didn't have all the information. I didn't have everything that I needed to actually make a truly informed decision.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that very experiment and have top and bottom written on it under a sticker and then pull the stickers off.
Yeah.
And like, the information was there. We just couldn't see it. We couldn't see it at the time. It wasn't available at the time.
So I read an article this morning on Voyager 1, Voyager 2.
Yeah.
Voyager 1 was launched, I don't know, sometime in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
It was deep space exploration. Voyager 2 was launched in like 77 or 76.
Yeah.
So when Voyager 1 passed the outermost portion of the solar system, and I'm going to get words wrong, so if there's any astronomers out there, excuse me. But the gist of it was when it passed a certain point, which is considered the outside edge of our solar system, which is actually way beyond like Pluto.
Yeah.
They call it like the ring of fire, the wall of fire.
Okay.
Right. It actually is super hot. It's got something to do with the solar waves coming from our sun and hitting the vastness of what's beyond a solar system. And it creates this area that's like 55,000 degrees or something like that. It's something crazy.
Okay.
So when Voyager 1 passed through it, the knowledge they had was they got readings back from how hot it was and where it was. Okay. Which still blows my mind that we can get information sent back from a satellite that far away.
I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's a whole nother conversation. I don't even anyway. So then Voyager 2, some 2 decades later, passed through it, and it was in a different location. And so there was a hypothesis that depending on the state of the sun, what it was doing at the time moves that wall in or out because of the waves,
amount of radiation, things
exactly.
like that. Okay.
Well, they proved that on the second one. So the first one, they wrote scientific textbooks as fact that this is where it's at. This is what the temperature is. It is a non-fluctuating. This is it.
Right.
And then 20 years later, they had to go back and rewrite the textbooks because it was in a different spot. It was different temperatures. It was comprised of different particles because they had more information.
Right.
Were they wrong the first time around with the information they had? No. There was no way to come to any other conclusion.
Right.
The second time around, now there's a third one that's going to be passing through. And so it might change again.
Right.
So it's just, it was funny. I just read that article this morning talking about information. So it also falls into, and this can be a whole nother topic, and I don't know enough about it, but that time,
Mm-hmm.
what we've been taught is right now.
Yes.
It's completely different for me and for you. Even though we're sitting in the same room,
Yeah.
our conception of time right now is actually different for every single person walking on the face of the earth. Because of their location, because of their height difference, because of their everything.
Right.
So like looking at, like if I'm sitting in a park, I actually saw Neil deGrasse say this. He was talking to somebody about this.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting on a park bench and I look up and I see a star, and you come walking by me, and at the exact moment you get in front of me, right where I'm at, you look up and see the star. We're actually seeing that star weeks apart in what we see. Because of time dilation and because of our differences in literally inches in height.
Okay.
We're seeing weeks difference of the light twinkling in the sky.
Oh, because of the speed of that light.
Because of the speed of light. And so what does that mean? So does that mean that when you've seen it, that is right now? Or when I see it, that's right now? Because
Yes.
they're both correct.
Yes.
They're both correct. They're both our right nows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a whole nother conversation. Time is a weird thing that they
Well, I love that one, and maybe we'll dive into that one at another point, because that's one of those. My wife thinks it's weird, but I can generally tell you what time of day it is within about 5 minutes. Without, like, take watch off, no cell phone. I can be out in the middle of the woods, and I can tell you within about 5 minutes what time of the day it is. Right? I don't know why. For whatever reason, just kind of dialed in. However, when I'm doing something, I lose that. When I'm actually into a task, when I'm into focus, that completely goes away.
Yeah.
That is completely lost. That doesn't exist.
It's like you go into a void or something.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah.
And so, and she, again, Megan's great, but she's like, I just don't understand that. Like, how can you be so precise most of the time and yet completely off when this happens? But like you said, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother distracted thought.
That is another distracted thought.
That's going someplace else.
That I honestly don't know enough about, but I know just enough about to know I don't know enough about it. So.
Yeah, well, but that's the fun part, coming back to the idea of agreeing, disagreeing. We can present things to each other. We can present things in a different way, and you and I could have, well, I read this, well, I read that. We can exchange information. And I actually think, so it's funny, I was thinking about this as you were talking about your brother. I actually think that you and I, if we were to get on some of those, if somebody were to walk in, I actually think somebody could potentially think you and I are arguing.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
100%.
And yet, I would know, and you would know.
There's no argument.
There's no argument there. There's no argument there. It is a discussion that might have a little volume.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, volume and hand movement. Look at us.
Oh,
we're very like. So people are going to think we're about to throw fists. I mean,
well, it's the fun of it.
It is, and I thought about this the other day. You have friends or associates or whatever, people that you have conversations with over text messages, and that's the majority of your conversations. You have people that you have over phone calls,
right?
That's the majority of your conversations. Me and you. We hardly ever text, and we hardly ever talk on the phone to each other.
That's true. And
it would actually be kind of weird if I picked the phone up and called you. You would be like, "You don't call me. What's going on?"
Well, and both of those type of conversations between you and I is straight transfer of information.
Yes.
It's
like, straight to the point, simple. There's no, "Hey, how's your morning going? What are you doing?" No, "Hey, are your kids coming tonight or not?"
Right. It's
information. It's fact driven.
It's purely fact driven. It's I can count on probably one hand how many times we've sent the "How are you doing?" type.
Yeah,
and because that's not generally.
It's usually when we miss
right.
getting together one week.
right. But you're right. The different types, we are in-person communicators, both you and I.
Yes.
That's the way we choose to.
So what does arguing not well look like, or disagreeing not well in your sense?
Wow. Okay. So arguing not well, arguing, it's when you go into something knowing that you're right.
Ooh.
Right? It's going into it. It's also refusing to, well, first, arguing not well, arguing out of bad faith. Like, hey, I'm just going to argue, and I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm not going to let go of this topic. I'm not going to let go of this thing. And I don't care how many facts you present. I feel that this is the way it is. I feel like I'm right. I feel like this is the answer, or you just need more time to think about it. You just need more time to see my point of view.
Ooh,
Shut the front door, man.
Nothing will light my fuse faster than somebody saying that.
Right. You just need more time. Shut up. No, I no.
My blood pressure went up when you said that. Things popped into my head.
But see, right there. I mean, you're telling me that there's no possible way that that any point I'm saying could be correct. Well, that's not a way to have a discussion. That's not a way. You're just wrong.
That's not a conversation.
No.
That's a one-sided dialogue.
Right.
That is not a conversation.
Right. But you know very well the people out there that's their, you're going to have you need to talk something through. You need to have a discussion. And that's the way they approach it. I'm like, then there's no point in this conversation. There's no point in going any further, because that's not fruitful.
Yeah.
That doesn't pay anything. If you're just going to tell me, I need to go think about it, I need to go pray about it, I need to discuss it with other men. I need to discuss it with you. And so we can work this out. And that's what I call arguing in bad faith, or having a poor disagreement, is when one side just says. The other side, I think, is the cowardly approach. Is, well, you have your truth and I have mine.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
let's agree to disagree.
Right. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
Right. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
That is a cop out.
Right.
And I agree that on all those statements. Nothing actually throws my emotional block out of a disagreement faster than someone saying one of those statements.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw it.
Because I will get hot and uncontrollably. Right. Like I will lose, I don't lose my temper verbally or physically, but I lose it facially. People can see it on my face. I have been talking with someone.
Right.
And my wife be sitting beside me. Right. And they use something like one of those.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like we were in a disagreement. They use one of those phrases or something.
Yeah.
And I know at that moment, that person's mind's closed.
Right. They're
They're not open to anything but their own thoughts. Right. And she's seen my body language change, and she'll do this. She'll reach over and she'll just grab my arm, just like she can tell, and I love my wife. She's a great helpmate. And she's, or if we're sitting like at dinner or something, I'll feel her foot like up against my leg and something, and I'm like, okay, hold on. My center, my anchor, thank you, baby. Because she knows I'm about to just like, I'm about to lose logic. Right. What's about to happen.
The watching and watching your body language just in this passive, not even knowing it's not even going to go anywhere, but watching your body language just here, dude, is hilarious. I'm from a professional perspective, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Remember that one. No, I have a very, and people can feel it.
Right.
So I've started I've started digging into like the energy we put off
Yeah.
as people and
Right.
everything like that, because everybody does. And I can change the energy in a room
Mm-hmm.
by my body language.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I'm working on because I'm realizing it affects way more people than just myself
Right.
around me. But I've been out to dinner before and had the server ask me, was I okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, okay, that was weird. Yeah, and but those kind of things kind of bring you back to reality. Like, whoa, okay, snap out of this, you know?
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, that's a great way of arguing not well or disagreeing not well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't enjoy arguing at all. Like I'm just not one of those people.
Right.
I am a very factually driven person.
Mm-hmm.
I love facts.
Mm-hmm.
I love absorbing them. It's one reason I think it's one reason that my generation hates social media so bad.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much misinformation when it comes to things.
Oh yeah.
You can't believe anything off of what you see. You have to go do the research yourself. And even then, you got to have discernment off of the research you get.
Right.
Because like I was saying earlier today when we were talking this morning, you can find your truth if you look hard enough.
Yeah.
You can believe anything
Right.
and find crap on the internet or out there on the web that will back up your facts, even though they're completely bogus and wrong.
Right.
You know, a great one. If any of our listeners have never done this, it's a great one. I don't think you have yet either. But you got to dedicate like an hour of your time to it. Like it's not something you just like look up. You got to dedicate an hour of your time to it. Go to birdsaren'treal.com. Okay.
What?
Or birdsarenotreal.com or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Birds Aren't Real.
Uh-huh.
It's an entire movement that started as a joke. Read the website. It'll take you probably 45 minutes to read through the whole website, all the about me and the history and everything like that. When you're done, there will be a shimmer of doubt in your mind if birds are real or not. I promise you. Because it is the most logical argument for something so astronomically stupid that I have ever read. It is so well put together.
Right.
I mean, it uses factual dates in history. It uses presidents. It uses mass things that happened to back up all of its stuff. And like I don't know if you've ever seen it. Like I know there's people in town who wear hoodies and shirts that say birds aren't real. And
no,
like,
I haven't.
Oh yeah,
I haven't.
It's been ongoing for probably like 20 years now, but it's just now starting to pick up steam where people are starting to buy the apparel and wear it. And it is just one of those things that proves if I wanted to take that stance and I wanted to believe it with everything in me and I wanted to make other people believe me, I could use that website and the facts off of it and people would question whether I was right or not. They would question more on the lines of I'm actually right. It is a perfect example of you can find anything that you want to find. And you can find facts, quote unquote. You can find information to back up your facts. You've got to spend an hour one day. You got to spend an hour one day.
Okay. Right.
Birdsaren'treal.com.
Yeah.
And it is, but you got to like not just skim the site. You got to actually go to like the about me or the history or whatever and read the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
And I've even fact checked it. And you can fact check it against like LLMs like ChatGPT, and they'll agree with the site because they're reaching out and looking because they're using keywords of what you ask from the site, and they're using it as facts. It's an accredited site.
Wow.
There's a Wikipedia about it.
Wow.
So like it's just it just.
So who's going to tell the Canadian geese that we see flying overhead?
Oh, they got answers for that.
No,
they got answers for Canadian geese.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
We see
there's an answer for it.
Thousands of them.
They're all robots. They're organically they're organic alien material. I'm not saying this is my stance, people. This is just what the website talks about. They're what it says is they're an organic robot, meaning like the tissue looks like meat and stuff, but it's actually like nanotechnology. and they use the power lines to recharge. That's why they land on lines. They're all cameras, and they were created by the government to spy on people. And they can tap into any kind of all this where they think they're being listened to on our cell phones, and this is where they get. No, it's all birds. And they say, well, what about the eggs? Birds lay eggs, right? Yeah, with the microorganisms of the bird is created inside the bird, and the other ones that are hatched are actually microorganisms. It's all technology. It goes way deeper than I can talk about, but it talks about that during 2 years that there were no birds reported in sanctuaries, and it was like in the 50s or 40s. It talks about history talking about this, and there was a big epidemic where all the birds died and everything like that. And then the government, it was right around the time that Roswell happened, and we got alien technology.
All right.
So it goes kind of into conspiracy theory stuff a little bit, but what's funny is I have a friend she's a falconer. She owns birds.
Right.
And she's like, this is such BS. And I'm like, I know. I was like, but you got to read the website. She's like, I refuse. I'm like, you got to go read the website.
I want to read it just to laugh.
That's what I did.
Right.
I have someone I used to work for who 100% believes it.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. 100%. They're the ones that turned me on to it. They believe it beyond a shadow of a doubt in their mind.
Wow.
And anything you say to them, they have an answer for it. Because beyond the website, they've come up. There's a whole following about it. Anyway, it's crazy. That was my example, because that's a major one. That was my example of how something completely absurd to 99% of the people in the world, or that you speak to on a daily basis,
right?
It would sound absurd to them,
right? That
you can go find quote unquote facts for to prove your side of an argument,
right?
So, arguing well with facts, or disagreeing well with facts, or even bringing something to someone else's attention with facts is even getting less and less believable.
Yeah.
Because of the internet.
Right.
And there is no fact checker. There's no real fact checker anymore.
Right.
I seen something the other day that he asked ChatGPT to give him an analysis and use this specific website to pull the numbers for what he was asking.
Right.
And then he logged into a different computer on a different account of ChatGPT. And this ChatGPT worked for a while. It was like a long-term project. And then he asked this ChatGPT, hey, can you access this website? All he asked him was, could you access this website and give me factual data for anything off this website? ChatGPT said, no, we can't access that website. It's not one of our websites we can access. This ChatGPT came up with all of it, said it could. So then he goes back to this one and he says, I just asked ChatGPT on another account if you could access this website, and you told me no. And he comes back and says, oh, you fact checked me. Actually, that's correct. These are assumption numbers of what we think it would be. And he comes back and says, so you made this information up? He says, yes, sorry I wasn't more clear that these were numbers that we assumed were correct.
What? No.
So it pitted against itself and it lost.
Right.
And he was like, I just did this to prove that don't take it at its first, don't take anything you get nowadays at the first piece of information you get.
Right.
Because it could be wrong. Ask questions.
Right.
So.
Well, it's funny because I find that doing research, I use multiple of those models because I found where some of them are absolutely incorrect, where some of them are, but that's a whole nother. Again, that's a whole.
You want to do a cool one? Go in there and put your name, date of birth, and where you live, and say, what is this person's net worth?
Oh yeah,
and it will make some shit up.
I think you've done
wrong.
That.
I wish. It will just make up random stuff.
Huh?
Just completely make it up. Like it'll pull databases, and if you've ever owned houses, it just says you own all of them right now, and it puts all the cumulative data together and saying that's how much they're worth. If you've ever reported a salary, it just puts that in there and then multiplies it by 20% every year after that and says that's what you make right now. And it assumes that you've put so much money into investments and that they've returned an X amount of dollars, which are all made up. And it gives you some astronomical amount that you're worth. I'm like, wow. Well, if ChatGPT says it, then that's what me.
That's reality.
My net worth. I'm like Wikipedia about it.
Yeah, right. I was say
so
because we're building our 4th house.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it would actually say.
Yeah. And I've heard some people do it and it's just wrong on the other end.
Okay.
Or it says they can't get any information.
Right.
But I've seen other people do it and it's completely wrong. It just makes up a bunch of crap. So
that's really interesting. That is really interesting. Huh. Well, sir, I think we're running close to that time.
We are.
I know you've got. You said you had 13 orders for.
I do. I have 13 shirt and hat orders.
And you have that data you're still pulling for your other project.
I do. I'm still working on that.
Okay.
So that's been a way more intensive than I thought it was going to be, but it's good. I'm learning a lot about getting data. I'm learning a lot about a lot of data is not public information. So I'm having to not rely on ChatGPT and
dig a little deeper.
So but so I got a busy day ahead of me. We have wedding stuff to do today, and all that good stuff. So
it'll be a good day.
Yeah.
I just have I have 6 hours straight of counseling planned. So starting.
But you have enough time between now and then to look at Birds Aren't Real.
I actually do. Yes, I do. I might just have to do that. So. Dathan, final thoughts, sir. What do you take come out of this with?
Learn to argue well. Learn to disagree well.
Right.
I think the what you did with one of your clients is a great scenario and great thing to do. Find someone you know really well and tell them you take a stance, the opposite stance of something you truly believe in.
Right.
And you argue for that with the person that believes in the same stance as you. And keep emotions out of it. Try to as best as possible.
Right.
But learn to disagree well.
Right.
It'll make everything in life easier.
Right.
So
I think part of that too is being aware of your emotional triggers. Being aware of the things that will push your buttons when you're having those discussions, because we all have them. I do too. But being aware of those emotional triggers so that when one of them is hit, because it will happen, that I can take that emotion captive and say, oh, no, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there, so that it can be a logic-based. Yes, there's feelings in it, but there is a maintaining that logic-based discussion, and understanding that my information may be incomplete, so that I can learn more when having that.
Yep.
But with that, folks, wish you a wonderful day, and we appreciate you. And, this has been another episode of Distracted Thoughts. We look forward to seeing you next time.
thank you.